Hi, today I'm here with Mike from Tierra Verde Farm. Hi.
How you doing, Aim?
Good, good. So tell me about you and tell me about your business.
Well, at Tierra Verde Farms, I'm Mike Jones, and I at Tierra Verde Farms farm with my wife, Connie. And Tierra Verde Farms is a pasture-based farm. We farm grass-fed beef and lamb, pastured poultry, both chickens, hens, which are for eggs, and then turkeys. And we raise hogs, maple syrup, honey. We're a diversified farm.
So how did you get into doing this?
It started off, I guess, a type A personality. And my wife and I were living actually on the beach in Florida, on Tierra Verde Island, as a matter of fact. And my mom got cancer and she passed. Mm-hmm. And we decided to move home, and Northeastern Ohio is home to us. And so as we were unwinding from Florida, we owned a business down there and we owned real estate. We decided that, I decided I wanted to live rurally. I wanted to grow my own food. Mom wasn't in any cancer risk groups or anything like that. And between losing faith in society and the food supply, I decided to grow my own food. And now I'm growing food for about 500 families instead of just mine. But
yes.
it just
me included.
Went from one extreme to the other. I think the first year we had 3 hogs, and now we finish about 100 hogs a year. So
did you see yourself doing this when you got into it? Like at this level?
No, I really didn't see myself doing it. I was reading a bunch of books. I'm a chemical engineer, and one of the problems with being an engineer is you believe if somebody else wrote a book on something, you think you can do it. that you don't actually have to do anything. You just read the book and then you get the knowledge and you go do it.
Right.
And I read a book by Joel Salatin called You Can Farm. And I was so intrigued that I called Joel up from Florida. I was still in Florida at the time. I go, I want to come see your farm. And so I drove from Florida to Virginia and I toured his farm. And he had a few other people on the farm, and there was questions and answers, and everyone's going through this stuff. And I think at the time I might have been 48, 49, 50 years old. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked Joel about starting a farm, and Joel and I are the exact same age.
Okay.
And he said, there's no way I'd start a farm now.
Oh.
He goes, it's too much work. You can't do it. And that was it. I'm one of those people that I only want to do the stuff people tell me I can't do.
Challenge on.
And so that's how we really got motivated to turn this from growing Mike and Connie's food to doing pasture-based business.
So why is your meat better? If somebody said, why should I buy your meat?
I think what I've learned is that not only food, but all of life is a closed loop system. And that the quality of our food, or what I'll call human health, the nutritional value of our food, the nutrient density of our food is directly related to the health of our animals. Mm-hmm. And so, you hear all the time, people will quote you, you are what you eat. Mm-hmm. Well, so are the animals.
Yes.
And so that there's this intrinsic link between human health, animal health, and environmental health. And my job as a farmer is to manage that balance so that I'm a steward of the environment. I very frequently say I'm a solar farmer. What I do is God's sun, I turn sunlight into bacon. and it's my job to manage the environment for a sustainable environment to where it can do this every year. We do this without toxins. We do it without fertilizer. I mean, we run a compost pile that's probably 30 feet wide by 300 feet long every year. Mm-hmm. And we spread that over our hay fields and our pastures. And we really try to manage the grass to collect the sunlight, to turn calves into cows, into T-bones and porterhouses. And so that's the way we look at it. It takes all three of those, because when the grass is healthy, the cows are healthy. When the cows are healthy, the meat's healthy, and then we're healthy.
So knowing the challenges and coming from Florida to Ohio and doing everything that you do, why do you love farming? Like, what is it about farming that now you're like, I'm in?
There's a couple of things. First, I mentioned how dependent human health is on environmental health. A lot of my customers, I have the folks with the autoimmune diseases who are very sensitive to impurities in their food. I have people whose parents have had strokes or heart attacks. And you know, dad still loves to eat beef, and they need healthy fats.
Right.
And there are very healthy animal fats, and I make them. And so that what really excites me is there's two things. The first one is when I see the environment work. When we farm, I talked earlier about making these three things work together. We really try to mimic the Great Plains of the United States or the savannas of Africa, where you would see the big ruminants go through and graze, and then the little ruminants, and then the birds. And so we copy what Mother Nature has already patented because we know it works. It's been happening for tens of thousands of years. And so that excites me a lot when I see animals growing, healthy, happy. And then the other thing is I've had a nice career. I've been working for 40 some years. This is the first job I've had where I've had customers come up to me and thank me for doing my job. I mean, I have customers coming up and calling me up. Is there anything I can do? Can I come out and help? And as much as I'd like customers to come out and help, it would take more of my time.
Oh, correct.
To not get them injured.
Yeah, we understand that, right?
But it's the first time I've had a job where people thank me for working. I mean, outside of the management structure, actual customers come up and they're real excited. And just at farmers markets, thank you so much, thank you so much. Well, everyone loves to be appreciated, and so that goes a long way.
It's the gratitude.
Yep.
So, what inspires you? Just in life or in general, what really inspires you?
It's very inspiring for me to find stuff that's not working and fixing it. And so when COVID happened, our business doubled.
Right.
In one day. You don't go from raising 40 pigs to 90 pigs.
In one day.
In one day.
Right.
The infrastructure doesn't work. And so then I got to fall back on my previous engineering education and go through everything and redesign stuff. And when that works, I have a lot of young people that work for me. And when I see them getting inspired about what we're doing together, that we're creating nutrient-dense, non-toxic foods for people who really need them.
They need them.
And we're not hurting the environment. We're actually helping it or healing it. I mentioned Joel Salatin before, and Joel had a great statement. And Joel would say, I'm healing America one farm at a time. And I'm one of those farms, so I feel like I'm a small part of healing America, that all the factory farms and commercial farms where either animals are abused or Mother Nature's abused, I'm not part of that cycle. And so not only am I healing people, I'm healing the land. And it's a lot of fun to be part of that. It's easy to sleep when you're tired, when you know that we did good today.
Yeah. So what's your vision for the future? What do you What do you want next?
I've been spending a lot of time figuring out when big enough's big enough. You know, there's quality of life issues with farming, and so we've grown to a point where Connie's working on the farm for a long time. Connie worked off farm to provide health insurance, and now that everybody's sick with COVID, we have enough money for Connie to work on farm.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out how the farm survives me.
The legacy.
I think what we're doing is important enough that it shouldn't die with me. And so Connie and I don't have dependents, so I'm trying to figure out how I can make the farm survive it. I would hate the farm to go back to what I call a chemically farmed soybean field.
Right.
And you know, we have, well, we're coming up on 13 years invested in healing the land.
Yes.
I don't want to let somebody start tearing it down again.
My husband and I have that same conversation, you know.
Right.
That. Yeah.
And so,
it's what's next and who's next.
Right. And I've got people. It's just, you know, to make something work, then there's lawyers involved, and
Right.
I put off those conversations
Right.
as long as I can.
It gets real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think you've invested so much of who you are now into what you do all day long, because I mean, how long are your days in the summer? I mean, the reality of it is it's
as
all day.
As long as the sun's up. So
And
when
then
the
some.
sun's up 15 hours, so am I.
Right.
That's the only nice part about winter.
It's a time for rest.
Sun goes down at 6, I go
Right.
down at 8.
Right. Well, everything from your faith to the way you handle your life and handle the farm has always inspired me from the day I met you.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It has. It's a big part of who we are, and we're produce growers, and I don't want animals. So that's a joke, Yeah. between you and I. And so for me, I need what you do, because it's part of who I am and how I eat and how I want to take care of myself. So maybe between people like us, we can figure out the next generation.
I sure hope.
Yeah, me too.
I sure hope. I mean, I'm hiring young people. I mean, I have faith in a few of my employees.
Right.
It's just trying to get hippies and rednecks to get together. You know?
Right.
It's
Make it work.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for
Well,
spending
thank you,
some
Amy.
time. And now people at Good Intentions are able to purchase from your website
That's
and
right.
actually pick it up at my store. So everybody else now can have the privilege of
That's right.
eating
If
your
you
meat.
go to tierraverdefarms.com, pick Good Intentions as your delivery point. We deliver here every 2 weeks right now, and if there's demand, we can move that up. And well, that, and you serve our ground beef patties are here,
We
and
do.
our eggs.
And
So-
yes, yep,
So you can always get those here as well.
great.